Mars and Jupiter quit Team Galactic, Saturn is thinking more clearly, so all that's left is Charon. So what he's planning to do is he wants the Magma Stone to make a profit off of it. So in his image, Team Galactic is all about money. Yeah, as you see right there, money is paramount. So basically, he's turning Team Galactic into Team Rocket 2.0. Well, I'll give him one thing. At least he's not trying to destroy the universe like Cyrus was trying to do. So, it was said that recently he joined Team Galactic, so it looks like he has a huge chip on his shoulder. And that chip is in the form of coming up with a not-so-genius plan. Alright, now if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go heal. Be right back. Alright, I'm back. Now why don't I talk a bit about this place? This place is divided into 3 rooms. This room that I'm currently in is not very big. Although if this was the original games, you would be seeing a few strength boulders and rock smash rocks in here. But in this game, it's a straightforward path to the next room, which is where all the action happens. Now about the second room, it's pretty big. One of the biggest rooms in the game, so I'm going to spend a lot of time in there. Although there are some rock climbable walls in that area, but I can't climb those walls quite yet because I'll be escorting Buck through that room. And you can't use certain field moves outside of battle if you're escorting someone. Moves like Surf and Rock Climb. But since I'll be escorting Buck through that huge room, that means I'll get healed after every battle, which I guess is good. And for the third room, that's where Heatran's supposed to be. But I have to leave this place to come back, so that way Heatran will be in that room. So yeah, that's pretty much the rundown of the entirety of Stark Mountain. The inner area, that is. Oh yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but both Psychic and Ice Beam's power points are now maxed out, and that's because off screen I used to PP Maxes to maximize the power points of those 2 moves, because once I bet you come back in here, I'm probably going to use those 2 moves a whole lot because, let's be real, the majority of the stuff I find here, they're weak to either Psychic or Ice Beam, with Rhydon here being a perfect example, seeing how it's weak to Ice Beam. So yeah, I figured I might as well maximize the power points of Psychic and Ice Beam, so that way I won't have to worry about possibly running out of power points for those 2 moves. As for Moonlight, yes, it still has 5 power points. And I do have 1 PP max on me, but I'm not going to use that on Moonlight because, first off, the maximum amount of power points Moonlight can have is 8, and I feel as though using a PP max on Moonlight is a huge waste. So I figured, since I just picked up a PP up just now, if I can get some more of those, then I'll just use some PP ups to maximize the power points of Moonlight. So until then, it's going to stay at 5 power points. But that's okay because I don't see myself using Moonlight all that much because once I eventually get to the next room, Buck is going to heal my team after every battle. So yeah, it's all good. Okay, hopefully no more random encounters after this wheezing because I'm going to show you something that's only exclusive to this game. Okay, it's this rift right here. You can feel waves of raging heat passing through from the other side. Yeah, sure, why not? Okay, nothing happened. That's because I need something else in addition to the red chain. So that means I'm going to have to come back in here one extra time because that rift contains Groudon and yeah, I have to go after it. But that won't be for quite some time. Okay, on to bigger and better things. Now one thing I neglected to mention last video about that fight against Jupiter, I believe that's the second singles battle we had against her since Eterna City. Yeah, all that time we haven't had one single battle against Jupiter since that time. I always find it pretty weird how you have 3 single battles against Mars, but only 2 single battles against Jupiter, and I guess Saturn as well. Not really sure why they made it that way. But will that Mad Cargo stop using Recover? Gee. Oh yeah, about Buck's team, I was talking a little bit about his team last video. About his Cloyster, well, one thing stuck out to me. I'm not sure what hell item it was holding, but whatever it was, I feel as though it should have been the Focus Sash instead because, well, if it was the Focus Sash, then I wouldn't even think of sending out Shaman against that thing because, well, obviously Cloyster would survive Giga Drain thanks to the Focus Sash, and then it would proceed to kill me with Icicle Spear since Skill Link will ensure that Icicle Spear hits 5 times in a row. Also, if Cloyster was holding the Focus Sash, then that would give the opportunity to set up either Spikes or Toxic Spikes, one of those 2 moves. But whatever, it is what it is. Oh great, more Mad Cargo's using Recover. Well, just because Mad Cargo has Recover doesn't mean it's any good. Okay, moving on to something else. As of right now, that shiny Rayquaza Terry Battle event is up and running in Scarlet and Violet. So that event started on the 20th and it'll end on January 5th of next year. So why don't I talk about that thing? It's level 75, its nature is naughty, and its moveset consists of Dragon Pulse, Hurricane, Earthquake, and Extreme Speed. And its additional moves, Dragon Descent, Draco Meteor, and Dragon Dance. So what did I do against that thing? Well, first off, I was thinking about going with Azumarill so that way I could use Belly Drum and hopefully Play Rough will do a lot of damage, but if I do that, then that could possibly put me at a disadvantage because remember, Belly Drum cuts my HP in half, so had I chose to do that, then I'm pretty sure Rayquaza would kill me with whatever move it has. Either Hurricane, Earthquake, or whatever other move it has, like Extreme Speed. So I guess I could scratch Azumarill off the list, or maybe not if I already knew how to use it against something like Rayquaza. So I decided to go with Archaudon instead. So the ability I gave it was Stamina, so that way every time Rayquaza hit me, I get a defense boost. I gave the Shell Bell as a held item, and its Terra type being Steel. I know Dragon would have been the better Terra type, but I know what I'm doing. And the moves I gave my Archaudon consisted of Breaking Swipe, Sword Stance, Reflect, and Dragon Claw. So Breaking Swipe so that way I could lower Rayquaza's attacks, so that way Earthquake won't do a whole lot of damage to me. And for Reflect so that way I could cushion the blow, so to speak. So I used Sword Stance a few times so that way I could power myself up, so that way I can ensure that Dragon Claw will do a lot more damage. Now the reason why my Archaudon's Terra type was Steel, not Dragon, is because once I Trash Slice into a Steel type, then Rayquaza can't really do a whole lot to Archaudon. Yeah, sure, Earthquake's a problem, but at least I have Breaking Swipe on me, so that way I can ensure that Earthquake won't do a whole lot of damage. And with Reflect, that means, well, it's not going to do a whole lot to me with the Reflect up. Okay, we finally made it to the second room of Stark Mountain, and here's Buck, who's going to want to team up with me since Team Galactic's here. Alright, look how small I am now. I always love that about this one particular room, where my sprite gets a little bit smaller. Okay, let's see what he has to say. Oh yes, in Diamond and Pearl, I believe he'd be saying something about how he defeated Barry not too long ago. Oh yeah, that last item I picked up, I believe that's where Barry would have been if I was playing Diamond and Pearl, as well as the respective remakes. And I believe Buck here is supposed to be the guardian of Stark Mountain, so I guess it's his job to patrol Stark Mountain, so that way it's safe and free from any criminals. Your big brother's one of the Elite Four, huh? Okay, he must be talking about Flint, because it obviously can't be Aaron or Lucian, so yeah, it's gotta be Flint. You know, I kind of wish they addressed that in the anime. We did see Flint and Buck in the anime, but it was never mentioned that those two were related. Okay, I'm going to put Giratina in the lead, and I'm also going to have it hold the Grizzlysaur because, well, since he's going to use a Claydol, and Claydol has Levitate, that means I'm going to hit a little bit harder since Origin Forme Giratina hits a little bit harder than Altered Form Giratina. Okay, where's that Grizzlysaur? Okay, there it is. I have two of them. Not really sure why Drayano programmed to have two Grizzlysaurs in this game. Alright, there we go. Well, since I haven't fought with Origin Forme Giratina yet, well, I might as well do it right now. So yeah, Archaudon worked well for me against that shiny Rayquaza, even though I did 2 attempts to capture that Rayquaza. I think it's because I wasn't doing something right. I guess maybe it's because I didn't use Sword Stance enough times. So yeah, that's why I needed 2 attempts to capture that shiny Rayquaza. So that event will be here for quite some time, so consider that to be a Christmas present from Game Freak. Oh yes, in addition to that shiny Rayquaza, there's some mass outbreaks in Scarlet and Violet as well, featuring Sotodle in Paldea, Carbink in Kitakami, and Fracture in the Terrarium, with all 3 of those Pokemon potentially being shiny. And that event will end on January 5th as well. Well, I'm not going to go after those Pokemon because I don't feel the need to do that. That shiny Rayquaza, yeah, that's the only Pokemon for me. Now, back to the game for a second. Back when I did Crystal, I did talk about something that happened in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and since I'm in Stark Mountain again, I might as well talk about it right now. So, when I was in Stark Mountain with Buck in my Brilliant Diamond game, something went completely wrong. I'm not really sure what was going on. So, what happened was, when I got to Stark Mountain and I was traveling around with Buck, for some reason he was glitching out. I'm not really sure what the cause of that was. So yeah, I tried saving my game and then tried reloading the game, but for some reason, yeah, nothing really worked. And then when I got to a certain part of Stark Mountain, my game crashed. I don't know Why it happened, I don't know. How it happened, it crashed. So yeah, hopefully Game Freak does a better job on these games so that way something like this doesn't happen again. Because, well, if I were to make my game crash for whatever reason, then I guess I would have to input the action replay or something. But there's no action replay for the Nintendo Switch. So yeah, I'm not really sure why my game crashed like that. It was just really bizarre. But eventually, everything was back to normal, and bug didn't glitch out at all. Not really sure if I had to update my game so that way those glitches would be patched out, but whatever I did, it seemed to get rid of that crazy glitch. Oh yeah, but that Toxicroak has dry skin, so with the sun out, that means its own ability is going to hurt it. And it's a real shame that Cloyster went down one hit. Well, I guess it's fitting that way because Cloyster's special defense is not very great. Well, okay, then I guess I'm going to use Dragon Claw on Toxicroak instead. So yeah, back to that shiny Rayquaza. Well, I hope Game Freak does something like that again in the future because I will admit it was pretty fun fighting a shiny Pokemon like that. A shiny legendary Pokemon, I should say, because those things are really hard to come by. Well, in a game like this, it could potentially happen because, yes, any Pokemon that I encounter in this game could be shiny. Okay, I believe the person on the left should have one more Pokemon. Well, actually, the person on the right, I believe that Staraptor was the first one of her Pokemon to go down, so yeah, it looks like she has 2 more Pokemon on her. Okay, hopefully Torkoal can survive whatever these two have to throw it at, because I really don't want to face these two all by myself, because yes, occasionally that does happen. Oh, bulk up, well, that could potentially be trouble. Yeah, I used Shadow Force on Noctowl because I knew it had Moonblast on it, and looking at my Giratina's current amount of HP, yeah, I don't want Giratina to die to a Moonblast. And besides, I don't think there's a whole lot Hariyama could do to Giratina anyway. Yeah, once again, in this game, only Noctowl is Psychic Flying, which is the reason why I was able to hit it with Shadow Force. Now, about other Pokemon I could have potentially used against that shiny Rayquaza, well, Azumarill was one of them, but maybe Sylveon, I guess? Well, it all depends on what moves I would like to give to my Sylveon. Well, looking at some of the moves that shiny Rayquaza used against me, I remember it used Hurricane against me a few times and to confuse me, which was pretty annoying. As for Dragon Dance, so I guess I only used that when it was at 50% health. Okay, what do I do against that Fearow? Because I don't think that Hariyama is going to do much to me. Well, hopefully I could take down that Fearow with Dragon Claw. You know, one strategy I could have done against that shiny Rayquaza was, I guess, possibly use Skill Swap to give it Contrary, so that way, if it were to go for Dragon Dance, then it would lower its own attack and defense. But that could possibly backfire as well, because if it went for Dragon Descent, then instead of lowering its defense and special defense, then it would give itself a defense and special defense boost. And I don't want that to happen because, well, Pokemon like Rayquaza, which is an Uber, yeah, it's already hard to take down as it is, and I don't want to make it any more harder than it already needs to be. So yeah, I can scratch that idea off the list. Okay, looks like that Hariyama can't touch me at all because it keeps on going for bulk up. Yeah, I've seen things like this years ago. I guess that happened at like the Battle Tower or something. So yeah, looks like Hariyama can't touch me at all. Well, good thing that Fearow died in one hit thanks to a critical hit, otherwise I'm pretty sure it would have killed Giratina. Yeah, Origin Forme Giratina is good at attacking, but as for its defenses, well, it's still at 100, but maybe it could be somewhat better. Okay, those were the 2 pairs of trainers that went down, but looks like we have so many trainers left to go. Okay, looking at the amount of time I have, I don't think I have enough time to fight any more trainers or grab that item that I see there, so yeah, looks like I'm going to end it off here. So next time, we're going to continue going through Stark Mountain, and hopefully we can make a lot more progress. See you next time.